What's up, guys? This is Team All Effects Vanguard bringing you Luard Witches. Hope you guys enjoy. Alright, for grade 3s, I run 4 Luard. Luard is the main beginning guy of the deck. His skills activate when he's Ritual 3 in order to put 2 cards from the drop zone back to the bottom of the deck that are normal units, and you're allowed to stride for free. His second skill that I enjoy a lot is on stride, counter 1, kill something, call 2. So at those times you can call either a Belial Owl or a Abyssal Owl. So he's a great card to have. The second grade 3 that I run 2 of the Rias Witch Stride. Yes, there are 2 different archetypes, Luard and Witch, and you're probably wondering, do those 2 really mix together? In my experience of playing, the Witches are very well used in the deck since you're able to access abilities later on in the game that can screw your opponent because they have grade 0s that they haven't used or more grade 0s that they have in their drop in order for them to come onto the field, and you're able to kill them with the Witch Stride. My last 2 cards for grade 3s is Fodhla. She's also a witch, so she also procs off the Witch Stride if you have to ride her. In my experience, I would not ride her because she is a 9K, and you don't want to be on a 9K. From main experience, no one likes being on a 9K because then they have to guard more and it hurts your hand a little bit. But I like her for rear guard calling, as she gets me my Belial Owls, or only Belial Owls, because they're only grade 0s I can call out if I'm not able to do Luard's counterblast for any reason. If I have to kill something after, like with Spectral, and then call her and then kill 2 Abyssals, like there's different plays to use her, but she gets me my 2 grade 0s if I have trouble trying to use Luard skill. Alright guys, for grade 2s I run 4 of the Witch Vanilla. Her name's Serva. I enjoy her a lot. She's the idea that people have been using with the 10k vanillas to ride them so you don't have to guard less. A great thing about this deck is you always want to guard early so that you can take the damage later on and keep your hand large. So guarding early is the best bet for you if you're facing any deck. So it also works against Nuatama and Dimension Police when they want to screw you over. So the 4 vanillas so that I can ride them or call them to rear guards and pressure my opponent. My second grade 2 is 3 Morfessa. Everyone knows what Morfessa does. Ritual 3, she's plus 5,000. 14k attacker, plus a boost makes her 21, usually a 7k boost. And then her other skill is that most people guard, and it's perfect for her because she's always a guarding unit, is that if her attack hits, counterblast 1, call something out, and then you attack more times, depending on what you call. If you call grade 1, that you probably had a Belial on the other side, so you're able to call the knees and then use knees skill when you boost Belial out. So it has fun, it works, I enjoy it. Next I run 3 of the Fires Collection Witch. Her skill is pay cost 0, so no skill, actually no counterblast or soul blast at all. And if I have 2 witches on my Vanguard circle, usually the Witch and the Witch Stride, or if they're Legion, that counts 2. My opponent looks at the top 5 cards of their deck and calls 1 grade 0 from among them onto the field. So it's a free card, it works out, and I enjoy it a lot. Lastly, I run 1 of the Legion Mate for the Witch. You're going to be asking, what if I damage it? Then you're probably not going to be able to do the Witch. Or what you could do is you don't have to Legion the Witch because all you need is a Stride. The only reason the Legion Mate's in there is to give you the option to Legion and put back triggers into the deck. Now what the Legion Mate also lets you do is it's also another skill that gives you the ability to get something from their drop zone onto the field that's a grade 0. And keep in mind your opponents need rear guards in order to replace them on the field. So in order to proc these, they need to have rear guards, which is not a problem because nowadays people like rushing or calling a lot of rear guards and pushing your opponent to 5, and it's kind of the meta in this game right now. So that's not really a big problem unless your opponent knows what they're doing and has faced this deck before, which they probably haven't. Alright, on to grade 1s. I run 4 of the Drag Wizard Perfect Guard. Perfect Guard, in my perfect card in my opinion. Did not even notice that happens, but okay, back to what I was saying. It's skill Ritual 3. If there's a copy of it in the drop, you already know it's a perfect card, so I'm not going to mention that, but if there's a copy of it in the drop, and there's 2 of them in the drop, you can kill 1 unit on the field, return 1 to the bottom, and 1 to your hand. Infinite perfect guard in my opinion, because I always end up drawing into 2 and having to use perfect guard and drop the perfect guard, and it works great, so I'm not losing anything. So, those are 4 of those. Next, I run 4 Abyssal Owl. Abyssal Owl on place, I can look at the top 7 for a Luard, add it to hand, and then discard a grade 3, or cards equaling to grade 3 from hand to keep the Luard. So it gets me out if I don't have Luard and I draw the Witch, and it usually works. Luard's always in the top 7. I haven't had a trouble with it. Maybe I missed it once, but I most likely had the Luard already. And if that doesn't work, I'm usually lucky if I put the starter to Soul and look at the top. It's usually Luard, and then I draw Luard. Next, I run 4 the Witch, grade 3.
Grade 1.
Grade 1. Wow, you're right. Grade 1. It's not a grade 3, and if it was a grade 3, it would be shit. For grade 1, its ability is on play Soul Blast 1. Choose my opponent chooses. I choose a rearguard circle. My opponent that has a unit on it, of course. And my opponent looks at his drop zone and calls 1 grade 0 from the drop zone onto that rearguard circle. So it gets me that my 2 rearguard circles for my 2 grade 0s on rearguard circles for Sinclair, which I enjoy.
Catch Call kills this card, and so does Gold Paladin.
It does not. Catch Call does not kill the card if it's not from deck.
Oh, it has to be from deck?
Yeah, for Catch Call.
Oh, whoops.
So, the grade 2 that I showed before, which we're going to reappear here, if they call Catch Call from the top 5, it kind of fucks me over because Catch Call can go back and call another card, and it can give my opponent Unite. So be careful when you fight Golds. I recommend not using the Witches when you fight Golds. Try using Luard and the Diablo strikes. So, just a tip. If you feel that you're able to kill them with Golds and you're sure they don't have any Catch Calls, go for it. But I would be safe than sorry. So last, I run 2 Drag Wizard Knees. And the reason I run him is because I need it. Alright? Yeah, you heard that pun there. Alright. So, its skill is on place, +9. I think that's Ritual. Yeah, it is Ritual. And it's Ritual 3. And its second skill is if I boost a unit, at the end of the attack, I can Counterblast 1, kill that unit to draw a card. Now, what card am I going to usually kill? Either I'm going to kill Belial Owl, or if I'm stupid, kill something else. Most likely, I'm killing Belial Owl. And that's pretty much grade 1s. They work well for Luard. You know, the 2 Luard grade 1s that work out. Actually 3 Luard grade 1s. And then the 4 for the Witch. Which you are pretty much going to draw into the cards you need for Witch. Is what your goal is in hand while you're playing the game. So you're playing pretty much 2 games at the moment. The game against your opponent, the game to get your Witches if you're going to go for the Witch final turn. Alright guys, grade 0s. I run 4 Belial Owl. If you don't know what Belial Owl is yet, I'm going to put it here if you guys can't read it here. Its skill is, when it gets killed, I'm allowed to draw a card. So you first do the skills that were required to kill them, and then at the end of their skills, you're allowed to draw a card with Belial Owl's skill. So what does he work with? He works with knees, most of your strides for shadows, you know, Phantom Blaster, Spectral Blaster, Aura Geyser, and then Luard Counterblast too. It works for that. So you're able to proc his skill, and it does not require Ritual. The skill that requires Ritual, is that at the end of turn, if you're Ritual 3, you're allowed to return any copies of Belial Owl from your drop to the bottom of the deck. So that's how the skill works, and it's not broken in my opinion, but it's pretty tough to for the opponent to kill you, and it kind of harms your deck because you're not allowed to have crits. You're not able to get many crits if you run other triggers. But in my case, I want to crit my opponent, so most of my triggers are crits. So for the Witch crit, if you do Witch and you make your opponent grade 0, how about we make it more grade 0? So if for some reason you Legion first before going Sinclair, you can use this skill on Sinclair because you are considered Legion and put things to the bottom and -5 your opponent. Put it to the bottom, -5 your opponent because they're going to have 2 grade 0s. So it procs off easily. Next, I run 2 more Witch crits just to have Witch in its name. And 2 of the Angel from Avengers. Overall, I'm running 12 crit because, you know, I want to crit my opponent. I'm doing a lot of cards in hand, and I'm not really rushing my opponent in the beginning. Later on, I start rushing my opponent after the 3rd turn or 4th turn. And at around these times, I want to already get my opponent to 4 or 5 before I start going into like Spectral Duke or Spectral Blaster, I apologize, and Phantom Blaster. And by doing so, gives me the opportunity to crit them, and likely I will possibly win, and that's my goal. And lastly, if you guys don't run these in the deck, you're kind of bad. 4 heal, and it has to be the dog because, you know, I'm a dog person. I like dogs, and it has to be the dog. I'm not going to run the Angel because she looks ugly, and, you know, there always has to be a tiny bit of blaster in here so the dog looks close enough to a gal, and I'm running it. So that's why I went the dog.
Do you run Garmore?
Who the fuck is that? That's not a shitty gold paladin, is it?
Yes, it is.
No, I know I don't run Garmore. Alright guys, on to my strides, which are going to be pretty simple. And I shouldn't call them strides anymore, it's strides and G-guards. But strides first. I run 2 Aura Geyser. He's usually your first stride of the deck unless you G-guard beforehand. And if you G-guard beforehand, you can either go into Phantom Blaster and kill 3 if you had Fodhla. So you're able to call what you need and then use Fodhla, call 2 more and kill 3 Belial Owls. Or 2 Belial Owls and Abyssal, depending on how you want to unflip your damage. So those are my 2 first turn strides. This one if I don't G-guard, this one if I G-guard. Later on I'm hoping if I can get Doom, and then I'll probably run 2 Dooms, and I'll try to figure out the stride zone after that, and I'll give you guys an update on that profile. But for the current moment, it is Aura Geyser if I don't G-guard, Phantom Blaster if I G-guard. It gives that push to my opponent to get them to 5, and I enjoy it a lot, and it gives me a lot of cards in hand. When I use Aura Geyser or him, I maximize myself, and I most likely get 7 cards extra in hand. With the one with you guarding early, you should get to 7, and even more. I usually get to 11 in hand on my opponent's next turn after my first turn stride. Next, I run 4 Drag Driver Luard. Why do I run Drag Driver Luard? Isn't Drag Driver Luard a little bit of a bad card? No, it's not, in my opinion. His skill kind of saves me for Luard when my opponents kill all my units and I'm fighting either a control deck, or if like I couldn't get any grade 1s in my hand beforehand because I was working on getting Ritual first. His skill saves me a lot because it's on stride. So Soul Blast 1, call something, then I can do Luard, Counter Blast, and kill 2, and then that's how I set myself up. Problem with him is I can't retire anything with his skill, so I have to find other ways to retire stuff. This turn, me going to Drag Driver Luard does not get me any unflips on my Counter Blast unless I heal, because then I can take the damage later on my opponent's turn. So he doesn't give me unflips, but he gets me my field again so that I can work on getting a field for the following turns. And that's pretty much his goal in the deck. Next, I run 2 Sinclair. Sinclair in the deck is for mainly witches and needs a witch heart. So she's your late game final. I'm thinking of moving, you can move her around, you can put her at 4 and drop cards like, what's its name? Carnivore Dragon. Or drop 1 of the Drag Driver Luards because it unflips anything, and run 2 more if you want to do the final turn twice if your opponent was lucky and had great jails in hand, or that they had the Counter Blast. Any situation like that, I understand you can run 4 if you want. You drop Carnivore or 1 of the Drag Driver Luards. Next, since you guys already saw, 1 Carnivore Dragon. Carnivore Dragon's another stride I go into if it comes to it. He is a iffy card. You can drop him out, put a Doom if you want, or, as I said before, Sinclair. He's there for killing my opponent's field early if I feel like they're kind of like pushing me more than I'm pushing them. So he's that situational card that you want to have in the deck for certain activities going on. But in my opinion, if I get a Doom, which when I get the money, I'm going to most likely trade him out for Aura Geyser. The next special card in the deck, useful, needed in the deck, is Spectral Blaster Diablo. He's a Diablo, so you can run Diablos if you want, if you don't like this deck profile. But I hope you guys do. His skill is Soul Blast 1, kill something. So I can Soul Blast 1, kill Abyssal, get the unflip for his Counter Blast 2. So that's the smart way to play it. And then you kill another Abyssal and a Belial out, depending on how you want to work your hand in and get a good hand to guard your opponent next turn. He's a one of the deck because he doesn't require an unflip of himself. So I can unflip one of the Drag Driver Luards and be able to call 2 if I need to. Depending on the situation, he's perfect for most of them. His skill is, as I said, you know, Soul Blast 1, unflip, kill something, and then he's active. At the end of the first attack, counter 2, kill 2, whatever you want, have fun with it. Lastly, for my G Guardians, there's
a lot of variation in these.
There's a lot of variation in these. I'm going to go one by one. All right, so I run 4. Yeah, why am I running 4 Plot Maker? Isn't Plot Maker expensive? And I'm like, well, in the situation that I had gained this deck, Plot Maker wasn't expensive. I found a good guy selling for a good deal, and it kind of worked out. But why am I running Plot Maker, not Ludwig or any of the Cray Elementals? First off, I don't care about my rear guards in the front row. They're most likely grade 2s, and they are replaceable because I keep drawing cards in hand. I'll eventually draw a grade 2 to replace that one. So I don't care about my front row, so that's why I don't use Dismo. Why don't I use Screw You and drop a card and it's a plus 10k? Because most likely I can call a 10k from my hand, which is the same equivalent of Screw You.
He's already a plus 10k.
And he's already a plus 10k on his skill because I'm Ritual 3. Why don't I run Ludwig and call something and get yourself Ritual? Because Ludwig is kind of shitty because he only brings it up, and even though it goes back, I can probably still not be in Ritual. Those are the situations that come with the deck. So the best card to run as your G Guardian until they make later ones that are good, most likely I'm not running the one that unflips a G Guardian because that's stupid, is going to be Plot Maker at the current moment. He's the best G Guardian in my opinion for Shadows, and he's perfect for that situation. He gets me my early guard and keeps more cards in my hand for the following turn. So that's why I'm running Plot Maker.
Also, Ludwig, like, it's kind of counterproductive to give up a board because you need it for Luard.
Yeah.
And same with the one that unflips the G guard. They both kill your own board, but you need it for Luard's skill.
Yeah, I fully understand that. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. If you enjoy and want to see more of our videos, please like and subscribe our videos, and we'll be glad to show you more. I think next we're going to probably do the Legend deck when it comes out, and if you've been hearing him in the background, my main leader of my team, Richard, over here is going to be doing deck profile when he figures it out.
It's hard to figure out. You can do a lot of shit with it.
Yeah, I fully understand that. Well, I guess hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile, and next time, my name is Frank from Team All Effects Vanguard, signing off.